welcome to our Broker Lunch and Learn here at the States at Lone Mountain. Thanks everyone for coming today. Today we are showcasing Stately Staging. Here are designers to showcase everything from the tips and all your questions. So it'll just be, casual interview style. So to start, please introduce yourselves and then how'd you get into staging?
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. My name is Kelly. Once again, we're with Stately Home Staging, and this is
Jennifer.
And so over the past couple years, we've worked together as a team with staging homes, and kind of my start, I think, goes years way back, when HGTV became such a hot trend and everyone wanted to decorate the homes and flip their homes, and that kind of got me. I always loved doing that with my home, and my husband is in the industry. He works on flipping homes, so it kind of was just natural that I became the designer, and he worked on homes. And so I also started working at an art gallery that also Ike Dweck owns, and I started working with very high-end clients from all over the world. So we would be selling them anything from chandeliers to furnishings. So that kind of was my start to kind of work with them with their homes and see what we could bring to life. And then I was like, this is the perfect, we then opened up Stately, and it was the perfect kind of, let's do this. And then as home trending really became a thing with staging, and that became really popular, that kind of fell into our lap. And here we are now. Mm-hmm. How many years later? What year did we? 2018.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, as time flies, so yeah.
That's an amazing story. And then how about you?
Well, I got into it after he started the company, but I've had this history since I met him in 2008. Thank you. Do I have to start all over? No. So I got into it at the same time. So I was an assistant designer, and then now we've both become lead designers. So.
That's awesome. Great story. And so let's just jump into, our Q&A. What makes staging a luxury home at this caliber so important for the sale of the home?
Gosh, one, obviously when you're trying to sell a home, we're trying to get our top dollar. And what's going to do that? I think walking into a blank canvas, it feels cold, you can't picture yourself there. Our goal with staging is, I always just say, you're making this a home. You want to feel like you see yourself sitting here, we're watching football on Sunday, you want to feel like it can be lived in. And especially in this market with luxury, I feel like, when you're going into that spectrum of homes, they need to be staged. You need to show what it can be with families or whoever wants to move here, especially, and that's where you're going to market yourself to higher potential buyers, and you'll get that top dollar. So we want to bring in luxury materials and furnishings, and I think it just really helps with the whole sale. And I think it's from the start, when you walk in the door, and I'm sure as you show homes, when you walk in, what do you feel when you walk into an empty house? It's hard. And then you now become, not only are you the realtor, you're now becoming the designer. You're trying to explain, in this space, this is what this is. So this, we always say, walk in and you want to feel like it's a home.
What is one design tip or just advice that you would give to someone just listing their home?
Oh, well, I've worked actually with Susan, her husband, with a client too that they already had all their furniture. I say especially before you put pictures, it's the decluttering. It's the making it look, we don't want to come in and seeing a lot of stuff everywhere, so we worked with a client where they didn't need their home stage, but I came in and I said, hey, let's rearrange this. Let's make this feel a little more open. Let's clear away this. Let's make this look like a little lounge area, even though you saw it was your office. You work, let's make it what's going to appeal to more people. And so I think like a tip is just, if you have a client, it's just kind of let's remove some more personal items. Let's declutter. Let's just make it more of a neutral palette, I think, is a big thing that we tend to go off. You'll see a lot of in here, we don't have too many crazy colors because that can throw off certain things. So you like to, we want to throw in splashes here and there, but keeping it very neutral and very warm feeling or, inviting. So yeah, I think especially before pictures, I think that's the big thing. You'll see so many you're like, oh no, let's make this more appealing, and that will get you more people into the door to come see the home.
Does anyone else have a question? No? What is something that would really move the needle as far as buyer psychology? Is there something that you can, like, whether it's the space, is it a certain space that is most important, or what's really getting buyers to be like this, like just triggering it for them?
I think
this is their home.
We always, when we walk into a space to decide, because we'll have some clients that are like, do the whole home, do all 5 bedrooms, but we come in and our main focus is always the main living room, your primary, and a lot of these will be open spaces like this. So you always want to focus on this. I always say your primary, and either making, especially say a loft, something that you might walk into that might be, I hate to say, like an awkward space, but I think we've had homes, with helping that visual of the awkward spaces, of making it, people can visualize, if sometimes when you walk in without furniture, isn't it weird? It feels smaller, and then you put in furniture and you go, oh wait, that just totally opened it up and made it bigger. So I think just, how to explain that? Just helping with the furniture, bringing things in. I think that will it's the awkward spaces, I think, that we can help with.
And going back to the decluttering
Yes.
as well,
Yeah.
correct? Anyone else have a question? What if a buyer or seller they're just kind of on the fence about staging, or maybe they don't want to change it. They're living in the home and they don't want to fully change out the furniture. What advice, or how could, the agents guide them with your resources to move them, to get them to stage it correctly?
Right. So that's what we have done, like the one example where I came in and we did we made a list, things that we could do to declutter, and a lot of it is accents. So it's just doing, with your couches, doing the right color accents or throws, or just bringing in small. You'll see a lot of plants, a lot of botanicals, a lot of people want to see greenery, things like that. So really pinpointing where you can declutter and just making it clean and crisp and kind of neutral. I think we keep saying is just kind of like a neutral living space, because sometimes that can be a turnoff. If someone comes in, it could be the most beautiful built home, but something about the way it's designed or some of the decor can kind of sometimes throw people off. So I think it's just, that declutter. We have done some, because typically we do just blank canvases and coming in, but we have worked with removing some of their items and bringing in certain pieces that are more, because we could go in homes and it's like, say, the big leather couches, or and they're comfortable for home living, but it's crazy how just bringing in, like, say, a neutral couch and just some certain pieces can help just elevate that room. And we've helped with some people when it comes with, I know a lot of people some people will spend the money before, they put their house on the market, like, well, what renovations can I do, or what? We've always said with paint, we can recommend paint is like the biggest change you could do to a house. So if you do have a client that's like, okay, we do want to stage it, or we want to upgrade a little bit, paint choice, this is like a great example. It keeps, you can bring in a lot more colors and a lot more to something like more of a neutral palette.
If I was going to add something to that, sorry, from Peanut Gallery over here. if I was trying to explain to a homeowner why it might be in their best interest to stage a home professionally, the first 2 things we mention, which are, there's plenty of studies out there and research on these 2 things. One, the home's going to sell faster, which is key, and it's going to sell for more money. So those are the 2 main points that we try to stress. And that's not a marketing ploy, those are statistics that are out there. So thanks for letting me chime in.
I knew at some point I was going to give this example of, we had a home in Red Rock Country Club, and it sat on the market, I believe it was about 10 or 11 months, and it was advised, oh, you don't need to stage it, it's fine, it will sell itself. We came in, we staged it, and I believe it had within 2 days, it had, one, even better, yes. Yeah.
What I've noticed is they don't, not a lot of people have the imagination that staging can actually enhance, and speaking of that blank canvas, is there any pieces that you guys suggest to enhance like the architecture or the architectural design of the home? Or is it just completely from scratch and you just build out to their liking, your liking? Like, how does that work?
I think it's a fun process. People always ask, they're like, how does this work? So, we'll go together into a house, and it's kind of fun. You first walk in, and you have that blank canvas, and then it just comes to life. So we start to take measurements, and then we know what we have, in our warehouse, and we start picturing items. But definitely, like an example for this house with the architecture. So here, when you walk in, you have that, you can see that first shot all the way to the back. So you're like, all right, we need to really enhance that. So it was perfect. Jen was like, we have to put, obviously this fire pit, we have to put something here. So for that space, that called for, so you have that. And then you think of like taking pictures. How is this going to look? So that gives you that nice shot all the way through. So there's certain areas that and with certain clients, we kind of we're like, this would be great if we stage this, because this is how it's going to look, and then being this right now, this open space, it will bleed into this area. So so we use certain areas for sure. We can it comes to life, and we can really picture how it would look in the big picture. Yeah.
So we all, when we go to listing appointments, we all have those moments where the home's cluttered and, we're doing our listing presentation. What's your best advice to giving the client the best approach for, trying out staging with Stately?
Yeah, and I know I've said it a million times, the biggest thing, when we have those that are like, oh, they're on the fence about it, I just say, we can come in and just completely transform, and really our goal is making it feel like a home. And like, we know what kind of works and what people walk into and go, oh, wow, like this looks beautiful. And as much as, some clients, you might say, love your own furniture, certain pieces, we're trying to sell a home. And so, that's kind of, that's our market, and we see what's working and what is selling. And so, and we've been going to many markets and many things. We see what's current, we see what's trending, we're following, home trends. So it's not like we're putting in furniture from 10 years, we're trying to stay with the times and the trends. So when people are seeing it and kind of going back to, you still have those people that everyone follows, TV shows and magazines, and we all love our Joanna Gaines and our certain people. So people kind of want to picture that in a home. So with that, I think just trying to, have gotten so many clients that way, just being like, just trust us. We can really envision this, really working with your space and what we can bring to it to transform. But yeah, just making it a home. And I think just like Ike said, it really staging just makes such a difference, and really if you want that top dollar, and working with client, it has proved time and time again that, it works. It does work.
Is there a price point that you guys average, like with as far as staging, or do you guys do every level?
I say we will never say no. There was a home I think we did about a year ago. It was actually, recently we just did 2 in like the 55 and up communities. Yeah. They're 1 story, I think maybe a 2,000 square foot home, 2 bedroom, just on, so nothing is too small or, out of our range. Well, always, we would love to, it doesn't have to be the biggest of luxury, but yeah, we've done, I think almost every part of town pretty much, and I would say from condos to luxury to we will do it all.
And you also just do consults, right? So if they don't want to bring in the furniture, do you guys offer that service as well?
Yes, and that's really recently we've realized that if say it is out of the price point, or you've gotten a lot of people that have come through the house and you're thinking it might sell soon, but just doing we do, like that's what I did with you and your husband. It was great to meet with a client. We just go through room to room and walk through, and we just make a list, and we just recommend what we even we did, it's not even just, oh, take this out, take this out. We even rearrange. I said, hey, if we move this might open it up, and just doing simple changes. So yes, that's kind of a new thing that we really have gotten excited about, is just doing those consults. And it helps, a lot of clients too and that is helping them get, selling faster as well. So yeah, we will do those too with the clients that not necessarily want to either move all their furniture out of their home or want to do staging. We will do that as well.
And it just is so much better when it comes from a designer, not an agent. So that's why we always suggest, especially on the luxury properties, like talk to your sellers about home staging and get them educated, and you can always contact them and they can, put it out there what needs to change to make the home sell fast and for top dollar.
Like that's what I'm saying. Here, the agents, if you don't have, you're walking into, say, a bare bone house, now as the agent, you're somewhat becoming the designer and you're trying to tell your client, oh, imagine you could have, yes, you can fit 2 couches in here, and you're trying to become that person and you're like, wait, but I'm not, so imagine if it's already laid out for you.
We're going to stay in our lane. Ask the professionals. Does anyone else have any questions?
Who normally pays for the home staging, the agent or the seller?
It's been both. You're more on the. She's the logistics.
So who normally pays for it, I find, is typically the client selling the house, but the agent just kind of steers the whole transaction. So the contracts are usually with the home seller, and the agent just handles the negotiations.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? Nope, you just hold it.
I'm just curious, when you do come in contact with the client, do you utilize a tech, like software, to kind of show like what the staging would look like before they brought in furniture? Like 3D mapping?
Sarah's coming in again. Here's she does a lot. She's coming in again.
So when we do staging, we don't usually do that, and the reason being is because we find pretty much 99% of the time the project is time sensitive. So, 7 to 10 days, if we're spending time putting together 3D renderings and layouts and everything, it slows us down and it just incurs more cost for the client.
Okay. Good answer.
Oh, and a good thing about with our services with staging, a lot of people think it's funny when they're like, okay, yes, we're on board, we got a house. They're like, okay, how long is this going to take? And we're like, oh, typically, I will say most, not always, but most, we are in and out in 1 day. And some people, they're like, wait, what? They think it takes like a whole week. I go, no, we have an amazing crew. We have a very large warehouse with a lot of things that are ready to be staged. And so sometimes if they are bigger, it will take, a couple days. But yeah, most of we are in and out. So it's, if we can go fast. If you have someone that's interested and ready, if we have the date open, we will make it happen.
Awesome.
So how long do you guys typically leave the staging in the properties? Because I know I've come in contact with different staging companies, and they'll leave it like 3 to 6 months at a time. But what if it's still in the market?
Logistic. Here, I was like, here we are. Yeah.
So that all depends on how long you guys want it left on the market. So, you have the initial rental, which is 60 days, and then thereafter, there's an option to extend. So it is a rental fee, so it all depends. There's no limit. So it all depends on how long the property is on the market and how long you want to incur those fees for. So.
And are the buyers able to purchase the staging?
Yes, good question. So we provide, within 2 to 3 days, if requested, we'll provide a turnkey price. It's not price per item, it's price per room, which includes all the accessories and soft goods and bedding and all of that, so they have an idea of that. But if there's any furniture pieces that they're more interested in, specific pieces, we can price that out by request. Or else it would take a week to get you an itemized list, and that would be my full-time job. And
Thank you.
And we love when they buy the furniture. We hope, we sometimes with certain properties we like fall in love, and then they're like kind of interested, and when they don't, we're like, no, it's perfect for that. It's perfect for their home. You can't even picture it without it.
Right.
So we get excited when they purchase it. Yeah. So that's a whole nother part of it as well. So that's another great point that you could bring to your clients that, hey, if you love, and I think a lot of people don't even realize that. So, and they might fall in love with the home because of the furniture. And so you're like, you can have this. You can have it all.
Less work for you guys, right?
Yes.
Anybody else?
I have a question. Do you have like any pet peeves that you guys do when you're staging, maybe with clients or like pushback and stuff?
A little bit of, sometimes, like I said, we try to keep a very neutral palette. And so we've had sometimes with people that are like, oh, we just expected all these bright colors and a lot, and we'll, at the end of the day, we'll do as much as we can, but sometimes we're like, but we can see what will help sell. And so we've had some, I know which one you know. And so sometimes,
I'm going to elaborate from like the logistics end. A big pet peeve is when we come into a property and it's not cleaned. It's filthy, we're clean, and we end up, because we're on a, it's not easy to reschedule a crew, and it's not like that. So we're already scheduled out. So we end up having to like clean our clients, like take sheets off beds, or like, you move something and there's, food, and who knows, it's just pet hair, all of that. Biggest pet peeve. Also, again, with the limited time we have for installs, we do try to be in and out, like you said, like in a day, or if it's a large one, 2 days. And if a client is there and like micromanaging and asking the designer or the crew, or trying to like, just interfering, it becomes a huge distraction, and it's, it just slows us down. So we always say to our clients at the end of an install, do your walkthrough. If there's anything you're not happy with, we are more than accommodating, within reason, as you know.
Yes.
Anyone else? Awesome. Well, thank you. Please let us know best way to contact you for staging.
We have some business cards. We'll leave those out, and please follow us online. What's our actual Stately LV. Yes, I was like,
That's Stately LV.
yeah. So please follow us, and you'll see our fun videos. And that's like we all of us have known each other for over probably a very long time. So it's pretty much it really is family. And so we definitely we have a good time too. So you'll see some fun videos, and it's not so so you'll see some really cool, content, and that's the easiest way too with your clients. Like if they're kind of on the fence, send them to our page, and like even just seeing a couple posts, you can be like, oh wow. People don't realize until you see it, until like this, you walk into space and go, oh cool, like this, okay, this looks nice. So I think, just send them to that page, and we're always here to answer any questions, and let's get some home stage.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, they do all of the state staging, so it will give you that, clear idea of what they can do, and you guys have really enhanced this space. So thank you for all you do. Awesome.
Thank you.